Today on Drawbli, we are drawing
Sail.
and a naked man,
He's not naked.
Abby, how click that subscribe button if you are new around here.
And comment below with other ideas of things we can draw.
What does this guy have to do with sailing?
Okay, so he's a warm-up sketch. I decided to include that as part of the artistic process, but I did a lot of searching of sailors.
Oh, some soul searching.
I was thinking of, painting a sailor.
I have to check your search history.
Well, there is a lot of... No, literally, I was like, shirtless sailors pulling on ropes. And then I did a lot of old-fashioned digging into sailors and sailing. And I looked at probably a lot of images. And I never found one that was just like what I wanted, which was just back muscles straining at pulling a rope. I thought, maybe I'll practice back. Anyway, I decided to just do this gesture study instead real quick for like 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay.
And I included that because I decided it was part of my process of getting into the spirit of sail.
I love it. And it gives us something interesting to look at because mine is not. Mine is slow. Mine is a lot.
How long did you spend on yours?
I spent a little over an hour. I think under an hour and 15 or something like that. But it was a lot of experimenting because with this one, I was specifically trying to create like a really simple illustrative look. Maybe an artwork that you might find like on the wall at like a Target.
A library.
A Target or something that you could buy.
Oh,
like
okay,
a really
yeah.
simple piece of artwork.
Yeah, I see. You're
because of
starting off
that-
simply. You're blocking in some colors. That's brave because you don't really
That's
know
so
where
brave.
It
Oh my
is because you
gosh.
don't know where it's gonna go. You don't know how you're getting there.
Oh, and it doesn't go this direction at all.
Yeah.
So I try a million different things and pick one of them.
Oh, iterative drawing. I like that.
So I'm just, trying to find a direction right now. Tell me
Trying to
more
find
about your
way.
guy.
There's not a whole lot to say about this guy. Towards the end here, as you can see, I'm winding towards the end. I try to block in a little bit more in the value department, get how dark his pants were in the right side of his body a little bit. Look how strong he is, holding up that anchor.
Is that what that is?
I think it's an anchor.
Like a half anchor?
That's how we know
It
he's a
kinda
sailor.
looks like a pickaxe.
That and his bell-bottom pants. The sailors wear the bell-bottoms.
No shirt and bell-bottom pants. You're either a sailor or a pirate. Those are the only two options.
Yeah. So this was just fun for me to do because I really like little gesture studies.
I know
I
you
think
do,
they're
yeah.
so fun. So this was a great way for me, And I don't remember when I drew this. I might have just been getting back to drawing after working for a bunch of days in a row. So after not drawing for a few days in a row, it's great to warm up and really get back in the zone.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this was me getting back in the zone.
And
Look at you, polka dot over there.
yeah,
Whoa.
let's not talk about it. It is an absolute mess of ideas trying to just like...
I love that.
I wanted to get some really subtle color in the water is what I was aiming for.
Okay.
That was my first idea. And I thought that this might be a fun way to do that. I end up not keeping any of that.
Watching you experiment though and like try to grow and learn is so cool.
Yeah, I'm just, trying things and seeing what works and getting rid of what doesn't.
No.
And eventually I'm going to get this.
A
a sailboat.
One thing I'm excited to tell you about this is that for this video,
And I'm excited to see it.
we get to compare to past work.
Oh, what? Really?
Because we have a boat video.
We do have a sailboat video.
Yeah, I'm so
Is that
excited.
something that you did? Did you copy or like retry an old sailboat that you've done?
No, but we're still going to put them up on the screen and compare just overall, like the process, not so much the process,
Wow,
but the
I had
end
no
results.
idea.
Yeah. If you look back to early Drawbli, we have a boat video. Okay, I'm switching over to the actual boat now
I
here.
barely even remember the old boat video.
I remember it just because I loved the colors that were in my reference image so much.
I
Okay.
vaguely remember. I can't remember what I made off the top of my head.
I don't either, but...
So you're doing a Rembrandt piece here?
Yeah, so here's what I'm so excited to tell you
Rembrandt
also.
master study.
I've got so many exciting things to tell
Tell me
you.
the exciting.
So you remember when we did the thumbnail video a couple episodes ago?
I do remember.
And I was like, I don't really know what I'm learning, but I'm trying to keep an open mind and I'm learning.
Okay.
This is my victorious return to thumbnailing.
Really? And
Yes.
why is that?
It is a longer process than 5 minutes, of course, but the end result of this and the goal behind this was thumbnail. Zoomed far out, getting the colors blocked in, the shapes, and really seeing the whole overall big picture.
Focus on the big picture.
And not a lot of refinement. Very little refinement.
That's okay.
My goal was to identify the contrast in edges, because the sailboat is in focus quite a bit more with hard lines, and the background and the water are a lot more soft and blurry. So I tried to at least bring in that element. I don't fully succeed, but that's okay. The thumbnail, when you zoom way out on it, I love the way it looks in the end.
Oh, well, that is, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because the first time on the thumbnails, you felt like you had no idea what you were doing. You mentioned that you didn't even know what you were learning, if anything at all. So now you feel like you've taken some of that knowledge, some of that practice, and applied that here. And, having a little more time also helps.
A little more time definitely helps.
5 minutes versus
40. I think I gave myself 40 or 50 for this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I let the sailor be part of the time for this.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, I got to learn about this piece of art, which I was really interested in.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
So it's by Rembrandt, very famous artist. And apparently, I could be totally wrong, this original artwork is still missing. It was stolen in the 90s.
I believe that's correct. I think we mentioned that a few episodes ago.
Yeah.
When I think you briefly said that you were going to do a Rembrandt piece.
The article in particular had a funny reference. He was like, it's probably just chilling in some mafia don's basement at this point.
It probably is. But I believe it was stolen from a museum in Boston, which I have been to, if it's this piece. But there were 2 or 3 pieces in total stolen, and I don't think any of them have resurfaced. And I want to say this was like 15, 20 years ago.
The article I read said the 90s, so at this point, like 30 years ago.
30.
Unless it was 1999.
So over 20 years ago. A long time.
That's a long time for nobody to have gotten to see this piece in the flesh.
Yeah, I think right now they have like a photograph of it. Like I don't think they...
I don't know, though.
Or they just have an empty spot. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I think they actually still have like an empty spot in like memorandum of it. Maybe one day they'll get it back though.
That's too bad though, because with these older paintings, I feel like there's so much character and texture in like the paint itself and the brushwork. Like if you've ever seen a Monet and how his paintings have so much 3D elements to them.
Yeah.
Seeing
paint.
those in the flesh, so different than seeing a photograph. And I didn't even realize that was the case until I went like with my mom to Chicago when I was a lot younger, and we went to an art museum. Didn't even know they were going to be there. Saw them, and I was just floored. I was like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
that's amazing.
I think a lot of people probably don't go to museums very often, but it's actually, in my opinion, I think it's a ton of fun just to get to see tons of crazy old awesome art, stuff that is often, like, even at our local museum, totally free to go to, and oftentimes they are free to go to. You can see sculptures that are over 1,000 years old.
We should go on a Drawbli sponsored excursion to the Cincinnati Art Museum and see what they have.
A Drawbli sponsored. Well, like I said, it is free, so.
Yeah, that's why Drawbli is sponsoring it.
Shout out to the tons of money we make from Drawbli, exactly $0. So that should fit well within our budget.
Yes.
Well, I love old artwork, like I said. Is there like any particular artist other than Monet, or maybe Monet, that you like gravitate towards with older artwork?
Well, this is Rembrandt, so also Rembrandt, I suppose.
Or maybe is there a specific art style or type of art that you really enjoy?
Oh, I mean, I like these really old pieces that are fixated on a moment of drama like this. This is like the Sea of Galilee, which is, this biblical story of a huge storm.
And this is like Peter, right?
Somebody's
Trying
waking
to get
up. No, this is the one where somebody's waking up Jesus in the boat and saying, you gotta stop the storm. And he's like, calm down, everybody.
Okay. Not the one where Peter tries to walk on water.
No,
Okay.
There's probably other famous paintings, but I think a lot of old paintings in particular.
Very biblical.
So you get a lot of amazing artwork out of that. So it's fun to know about.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really cool piece. I can't exactly see what you're working on over there. Those little wave splashes, it looks like.
Yeah, bringing in the bright water there, the bright wave splashes.
It's cool.
Yeah.
I really gravitate towards older sculptures because I would not incredibly old, because there's definitely a turning point if you look at old art around the 1400s where people discovered things like perspective, specifically with 2D art. That is like a big turning point in art. If you look at art older than that, you'll see a lot of flat faces. Like if you've ever seen like some of those art in museums that you like to make fun of, which I often do, of people with just like really derpy faces, it is typically from before that period, before the traditional Renaissance era, where we discovered 3-point perspective. But the other type of artwork that I really enjoy is old sculptures. There is a lot of character in old sculptures, and I am always blown away by the amount of just skill and effort and work that went into some of these old pieces. Things that with the digital tools that I use today that would take me an incredibly long time to create. Like, I could absolutely do them, and a lot of artists could, but are you going to spend the time to like really do this? Even in 3D, it's like 3D sculpting, it's digital sculpting, so much faster than traditional methods, so much faster than clay. 1,000,000 times faster than, like, I'm not even kidding, probably 1,000,000 times, like, actually faster than carving something out of, like, a block of marble.
Oh, for sure, probably.
So whenever I see that stuff, it's always very, very awe-inspiring, especially, specifically fabric. Like, whenever you see beautifully carved folds in fabric. I can't remember the artist or the name of the sculpture, but there is a piece in the Cincinnati Museum, or there's a couple pieces. There are some like angels wearing these flowing dresses that are just flowing onto the ground, and the fabric looks real. Like, it is incredible.
Just
and then there's
gorgeous.
another one with like a young woman twirling in a dress that I think was made in the 1700s that is like...
People just had more time for this kind of thing back then.
It is insane. It is just like absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing. One of the graveyards we walk in, there's a gravestone that has fabric sculpted onto it, like a flowing
Look, we were talking
cape.
about graveyards in the last episode, and you know there's somebody in here that's just like, I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? You walk in graveyard?
There are green spaces near us. A lot of them are graveyards. We have some options.
we don't have a lot of parks around us. There are more graveyards than parks. A lot of people die. It turns
Actually,
out,
we
like,
have a lot of parks too, but I just really like the graveyards.
the graveyards, we have some really beautiful park-like
It's like walking in a
graveyards.
sculpture garden, because they're historic graveyards, a lot of them. So the headstones are very interesting.
Anyway, you were saying.
Oh yeah, the gravestone had carved fabric on it at the end of that conversation.
Oh yes, I do remember that one.
Look at all your colors.
remember
Oh, I love your colors in the water here.
Yeah, I like I said, I experimented and tried 1,000,000 different things
Yeah,
with this.
your
I love
sky
how
is so
yours is
pretty.
really starting to shape up with the thumbnail. Like you said, when you zoom in, the details aren't there, which is not important for that first like initial stuff. You're trying to get in that foundation. And I think even now, just looking at this, I know that you succeed with that.
Aw.
The thing that I was, once I did get to this point where I was playing with the crazy variety of colors, the thing that I wanted to work on was playing with edges. Talking about the sky and the water here, like how could I kind of play with those edges a little more to keep some hard edges in there and soften a little more. So I played with that a lot. Even here now, I'm still experimenting with 1,000,000 different ideas.
This is so fun, though. Like I said, just watching you be creative and experiment with creativity here. I really like to see that process.
I knew that I wanted to do something that kind of took these colors and like flipped it on its head. Whether that was like fading out like a little bit of that in certain areas or playing with that. What I end up doing is a version of that, a variety of that. And you'll see that take shape more.
Yeah, I like it. I like it so far. Very cool.
So tell me, what is the brush that you are using over here? It's very textured.
I think it's a chalk brush at this
Okay.
point. Before, though, I was working in charcoals. Exclusively in charcoals.
It does kind of look like a charcoal brush.
I love the texture of that, and that's why I did it.
That already looks really, really good.
Thank you. Well, we got to thank Rembrandt for coming up with the composition and doing this on his own. He probably didn't have a photo of a boat in the storm.
Shout out to Brant.
Yeah, in a storm in front of him. So I had a lot more to go off of than he did. So
I mean, yeah, you had the finished image right there.
I had the finished work of Rembrandt in front of me. Doing master studies, super fun.
Would highly recommend.
Yeah, I'd like to do more of these in the future. Because it's so satisfying. Because even if you only get approximately there, the original work is so good that even an approximation can be really cool.
Can be much better than what you could traditionally do.
Yeah, it's very fun.
The nice thing there, though, is that you are learning from the techniques that they are using. And it's not just about that finished piece. It's not just about like, oh, I made something better than what I could normally do. Because I do feel like a lot of people get stuck in that trap where they get stuck in what's called tutorial hell, where they do tutorial after tutorial after tutorial, or they just watch a ton of tutorials, and they get to a point where they're so used to following something else or someone else that it's really hard for them to do anything other than that. You get almost anxiety from like, oh no, like I'm not going to be following a tutorial with this one. It's like, yeah, I mean, you can do it though.
You can do it, promise.
I believe in you.
Yeah, take this to the next level.
Ooh, I love what you did with the rigging, like flying off, it snapped. It's kind of hard to see that in the original image, partially because it's so small on the screen for that reference. But yeah, I did not notice that at all. That's really cool.
The hardest part was definitely to do an approximation of the people on the boat.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's definitely what ends up looking like the goofiest of the whole piece.
Oh,
I probably could have just left the people off, but I do go in and...
It's a ghost ship.
It's a ghost ship. Probably would be better, but I do go in and try to block in their little colors.
Speaking of ghost ships, I try to make my little boat glow in the night
It
scene
is
over
glowing. Cool. And oh, look at the birds. They're like reversed. You reversed the color of your birds in the sky.
I did, yeah.
That's
I was kind of making the birds glow a little bit too.
And now it's like you've got the boat, but it's at 2 different times, you know?
Yeah, so
night and sunset.
Night and sunset, that's right.
Oh, look at your graphic designing now, too.
Yeah, I wanted to... The way I did these rounded corners, I'm not sure if it was in the recording or not, but I just made some circles on the corners, and then I just like made a mask out of that. It's a little rough, but it kind of gets the idea across there. And then it was just from here a lot more just experimenting, playing around with some other graphic ideas.
I like that.
Yeah, I think it, honestly, to me, this feels like the back of like a business card.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's the rounded edges, like.
Boat Tours by Samantha.
Oh, our brand new boat tour company.
Yes, Boat Tours by Samantha.
Samantha, the secret third member of Drawbli.
Not Boat Tours by Jesus. Those have ended up pretty stormy, according to this work. I loved doing the people here because it gave me an excuse to zoom in on all the people on the boat, and look at this guy, just like hanging on for dear life.
And those are, each one of those is so amazing.
They're so cool.
Like,
so
detailed.
amazing. It's so amazing that he put so many amazing people on one boat.
On one capsizing boat. Yes, my boat, you can't tell whether it's capsizing or not.
Yes, and this is, of course, moments before the whole storm stills and everything gets better, so...
Allegedly.
Yes.
It might just capsize. Who knows if it's exactly that scene?
Well, I think we do know, but... anyway, this is a super good time to make these. I really am glad that I was able to bring back some of the thumbnailing.
For a 40-minute master study, your piece is awesome.
Thanks. Your piece is also bonkers awesome. I really love the colors and the creativity here that you have brought forward. Congratulations on
Congratulations. Yeah, like
handshake. Handshake.
Very firm hand. Congrats. We did it. We did art.
We did the art.
It again.
We've succeeded.
Well, hey, click that subscribe button if you are new around
and comment below with ideas of other things that will help us improve as artists.
And this is the part where we say
goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. Yes, a very firm handshake. You must shake hands when you complete art.
Yes, congratulations on this good art.